Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Ben and Jamie Talk Football, a brand new football podcast where myself, Jamie, and Ben talk about football, mainly Premier League stuff, but we're going to focus on Champions League and other stuff like that as well. And we've come in at a great time towards the end of the season where Liverpool are doing quite well, and we've just had some lovely midweek fixtures, haven't we, Ben?
Unfortunately, yes, we played. Yep.
Where do you want to start? We will start at the first couple of games of the Tuesday night.
Should we start with the Brighton Bournemouth because that's the first I'm looking at. The 2-1 to Brighton.
We can go into the Brighton and Bournemouth game. Obviously 2-1. Brighton having for me a very hit and miss season. I don't like them. You don't like Brighton?
I don't like them.
What have they done to you?
They've knocked my team out of the FA Cup and then they smashed us 3-0 in the same week.
Well, that is... Ben's a Chelsea fan. For those of you listening on audio, Ben is Chelsea. I'm a Liverpool fan. So that's us in a nutshell, you know.
Yeah.
We get called glory hunters everywhere we go.
I'm not searching for any glory.
Yeah, there's not been that much glory, to be honest, throughout my life of watching Liverpool. But we moved from there. Anyways... Yes, Brighton, a bit of a hit and miss season so far, I'd say. But somehow, then beating teams like Bournemouth. I mean,
Bournemouth looked awful as well. That Justin Kluivert goal was a beautiful goal. It really was.
Yeah,
absolutely. It just smashed it from top corner from about 20 yards out. Nice.
Yeah. Well, one for the highlight reel, wasn't it? It was everywhere on the next day. Oh, there's that goal. Yeah. But other than that, there wasn't really much of the Bournemouth that we've seen throughout the season, was there?
No. Just they got dominated, absolutely battered. And from when I watched it and watched the highlights back, it could have been 5-6-1 Brighton, and that's stupid.
Yeah, a lot of clear chances, wasn't there? And João Pedro getting himself a goal again. Yep. Annoyingly for me, I took him out my FPL and put him on.
So did I.
What a genius move that was! So if you want great tips like that,
I put a Beto in as well, who missed 2 big chances. So yeah.
we'll get on. No, not 2, 3.
Oh, great, even better.
Yeah. 3. He could have had he had a hat trick of 1-on-1s and messed up every single one. We'll get onto that. They obviously drew 1-1 in their game, but we'll get onto the stinky Everton in a little bit. But Brighton
was the boring one anyway. No one wanted to talk about it.
I will say one thing though, in terms of the not boring game, Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
4-1.
Yeah.
Where on earth that came from, I do not know. I mean, yeah, they had a bit of a slow start to the season, Palace, and they have picked it up lately. Where are they sat in the table right now? They're 12th.
12th, yeah.
So they have picked it up recently, but I mean, Villa. Everyone had them pegged for the top 5? I don't know. Where did you have them at the start of the season?
I had them. I actually think 6th or 7th.
6th.
Off the top of my head. I thought Champions League would absolutely ruin them, and it's kind of done it, but I think it's so tight in that mid-table clash that you can win one game and you're 6th, and you can lose one and you're 13th.
Yeah,
at the moment.
It is very tight. But yeah, Aston Villa. I mean, I had them. I think top, definitely top half. I think in the top 8 for sure. It's funny though, because their losses don't normally come around the Champions League fixtures. I think they've actually done all right around the time of the Champions League games. It's been in the odd games where you think.
I'm just going to get something out of my brain again. They beat Chelsea 2-1 and then went and got smashed. There's another team just absolutely showing up against us and then disappearing. Simple.
And they took a point as well. So in the space of
the same week.
3 points of Chelsea, 2 off of Liverpool, and then absolutely messed it up against Crystal Palace. I mean, Mateta. I've never seen a transformation in a player so much over 18 months.
He just doesn't like the winter months.
Yeah.
He doesn't like winter. And then as soon as you hit February, April, March, it just turns into something.
Yeah. And I mean, Sarr as well. It was Sarr, wasn't it? I say Sarr.
Yeah,
he bagged a brace and some good finishes. What are your thoughts on Adam Wharton?
I mean, he's not played that much this year.
Yeah.
He's not played this much. He's a good player. He didn't play in the Euros either. We'll get on to what my thoughts on some of the England's DMs are when we cover the thing
a
later.
little segment later on. Oh, we might have a similar couple of players, maybe.
I think we do.
I was just seeing that one in a little bit as well. On Tuesday night, your beloved Chelsea played.
Yeah.
What did you make of that game?
Southampton, who is in chat, Xavier, went to that game.
Oh.
But no. Do you know what? Generally, I don't want to talk about Chelsea. I want to talk about Southampton because how fucking horrible are they?
Yeah, they're almost a League One team in the Premier League at this point, aren't they?
They had a good 10 minutes, and then after that, I mean, Palmer obviously could have had 3 or 4 goals, but whatever's happened there, I don't know.
Yeah, what happened to Cole Palmer lately? I mean, blank off the back is all I see.
He's got no assists in his last 13 games.
Yeah, I mean, he should have had one. I did see he put one right across the across the edge of goal, and I can't remember who it was. Had a tap in, but didn't even make contact.
It might have been no.
Yeah.
No, he had 3 very big chances, like tap-ins, that he would have scored. If he played like he did against Everton last year, he could have had 4 or 5. But he's all the best players have a game off, which is why Salah, what he's doing at the moment, is absolutely insane. Like, for Palmer to put, 40, 45 goal involvements up in 30 games last season, and then drop off a cliff, but Salah's keeping consistent week after week. It's, different players.
It's beautiful for me to see, I have to say. And I suppose this is the first time we mention it, or because it's obviously our first live. What are your thoughts on Chelsea's season so far?
Can we go back to the next segment?
No, come on.
Now, do you know what? I think everyone's saying we're in the mud right now. I don't think we are. We're 5th. I don't think it's as bad as people think. But when you look at our last 10 games, we've got Liverpool, Forest away, Arsenal away, Spurs, Newcastle away, United. 6 of the last 10. We obviously also have Ipswich and Leicester, which should be 6 points. But knowing Chelsea, they'll beat Liverpool and lose to Ipswich. So
yeah, that does sound likely. But I mean, if you look back to the start of the season, I mean, myself, I think I had Chelsea around the mid-table 10th sort of place. Especially,
really,
I gave no hope and no faith. Bear in mind, not really knowing much about Maresca, but the fact that they got rid of Poch and then bought in Maresca, I thought that is not an upgrade in my opinion. That is just Poch was building something. He was at the end of last season. He was really climbing towards something. Yeah. Yes, it was a rocky start, but he really did climb. Whereas Maresca coming in, I thought was going to be awful, but actually he hit the ground running quite well. Yes, you've had a little on the road recently. I mean, 3 losses in the last 5 isn't great. But in general, I think if I was a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't be complaining about the results so far this season.
Mean, they had a whole protest before the game on when was the game? Tuesday. Yeah, there was a whole protest. Then we won 4-0 and everyone seemed to have forgotten about it, which is nice.
These protests do make me laugh. I was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium the other week, and I looked to my right and I saw a couple banners that I've never seen in any other Tottenham game that I've watched where they've been at the stadium. Doesn't get any coverage on Sky or whatever. And I asked the Tottenham fan next to me, I said, "What are they for?" "Oh yeah, it's protested against the Levy or whatever his name is." And I went, "Oh yeah, how's that going?" I went, "Well, they turn up every week and then they stop complaining when we win. But then as soon as we lose a game, they come back to it."
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just silly protests, isn't it? And they're pointless as well.
Yeah.
There's plenty of worse owners out there. There's plenty of worse owners out there. FSG. Top
of the league, mate. I don't know why you're moaning.
That's
we'll get on to that. What about Wolves Fulham? That's obviously the next Tuesday game.
The final of the Tuesday games. I mean, the Raul Jimenez derby and the Adama Traore derby. Look, it's not the most interesting of games, is it? I mean, you can polish a turd out.
Can I just say how bloody good is Matheus Cunha? I watched the game and I was highlights of it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy. I mean, he got fouled 7-8 times. Had 3 shots on target. He's so whatever club he goes to,
they're going to be loving life. I mean, where would you pick him out for? If you had to pick somewhere for him, or give me 2 if you can't decide.
What teams?
Yeah.
Who I think he's going to go to, or who I want him to go to.
Give us both, one of each. Think and one.
I think he will go Arsenal. I think that's destined. I think Isak will go Liverpool, and then I reckon Cunha to Arsenal.
And the one, is that Chelsea? Or surely you don't need another attacker?
No, we don't need another attacker. He plays centrally as well. I don't think Palmer really would.
Yeah.
He's a weird one. He works.
He plays off that left. He plays off that left centre, doesn't he? Sort of like coming in. And I wonder how he would do if he was put straight up top for Arsenal. Maybe.
Can I talk about this woke nonsense as well? Why have Wolves got a number 5 up front?
Oh, I mean, Samuel Eto'o done it first.
Yeah, no, it's doing. I'm looking at the team now, and it's absolutely doing my head in.
Maybe he's a big Eto'o fan. You know, I mean,
I think he's a centre mid as well. That's the worst thing.
I'm looking at it. It's João Gomez. Oh no, it's Marshall Muntz. I have no idea. I've never heard of him. From Zimbabwe. He's not even young. He's 28.
I think he came from
3 random games.
Rennes, I believe.
Oh, did he? Oh.
Let's have a look. Yeah, he did. Reims.
I mean, it reminds me a little bit of career mode when you sign someone and you get the first available shirt number. You know, it just whacks the first one on the list.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what happened there at Wolves. But yeah, I mean, look, Fulham won. If I was the betting man, I would have put my money on Fulham to probably win that.
Yeah,
having a much better season than Wolves, and I mean that's how it ended up. Yep. But moving on to the more exciting games, I would say the ones that everyone was kind of look, Tuesday was there, but no one really cared about Tuesday, did they? I mean, it was all about Wednesday. We're not going to tease you anymore. Let's get into it. Arsenal 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Another 90 minutes without Arsenal managing to score a goal. Have they officially quit the title race?
Oh, it is 13 points now with a game. Obviously, 10 points.
Say 10 points.
Arsenal's run. I mean, I believe Arsenal still have to obviously go to Anfield.
Yep.
They still, as much as they will probably batter us, they still do have to play us. Old Trafford, Everton away. That's not a banker. Even Brentford. Other than that, obviously Newcastle is probably their hardest, and Palace. Then.
Yeah.
But yeah, Arsenal. It's the mentality at Arsenal. They're a small club. They need to accept it. They're never going to win the Prem. They're never going to win the Champions League. They can keep spending this money, making it sound like Arteta's the best manager in the world, but he's still won an FA Cup. And he will never be nothing other than an FA Cup merchant.
And bear in mind, that was an FA Cup with what was not his Arsenal team, the team that he actually took over. Yep. So, I mean, look, we can sit there and say Arsenal won't win the Premier League, won't win the Champions League. I certainly agree they don't look like a team that win Champions League. Couldn't. If they somehow make it past PSV without a striker, they will face either Atletico or Real Madrid.
Yeah,
and speaking from personal experience of playing against the Madrids quite a lot, it doesn't normally go well for the English side.
Yeah, and, Madrid will rip them apart.
Yeah, it doesn't actually matter which one, but like they just will play them. I mean, Arsenal at the Bernabeu, they will be played off the park.
Yeah.
So are you on the side of it's time for Arteta to go if they go out of the Champions League and
win nothing this year? I've said since December that I think Arteta has probably reached his limit. I said if he doesn't win it this year, I think it's been 7 years and they're still putting the pressure on. What are they, Spurs? It's not. No offense, I know I absolutely despise them, but Arsenal used to compete and win Prems, not put the pressure on it.
Yeah,
and they're 13 points behind still.
Yeah, and that's 13 points
they
behind.
Second.
13 points behind a team that weren't favourites at all walking into the season. I think we might have been third on the list, but if you looked at all the pundit predictions, there was people putting Man U above Liverpool, Tottenham above Liverpool. I think a couple put Newcastle above Liverpool because yes, there was an unknown with Slot, but he has done an exceptional job. Yep. They just didn't think that the main two, Arsenal and City, would be the ones at it again. And well, I mean, Arsenal have given more of a fight than City, but I mean, City lost Rodri. At the end of the day, you can look at the injuries that Arsenal have had, injuries that City have had. Yes, Liverpool have been more fortunate on that front, but I do think that if City had kept Rodri, they would probably be right up next to Liverpool in this title race. And that is a big difference. So if you were in charge of Arsenal, you're sacking Arteta, who are you bringing in?
Oh, I don't know. That's the one thing that makes me think they'll probably keep him anyways. Obviously, he signed a new deal. 3 years or whatever it is. So I don't think they need a winner. And I don't think there's that. Back in the day, a Mourinho or like a Pep or even a Ancelotti. I don't think there's any of them that will go near Arsenal. So it's a bit. Could they entertain Luis Enrique if he left PSG? Simeone if they want to absolutely end it all.
I mean, it's coming in on the comments there. Iriola to Arsenal. I mean, that is not, in my opinion, that is just a sideward step, and that's sort of what you're getting at, isn't it, Ben? There's loads of managers they could get as a sideward step. Thomas Frank, Iriola. They're just a couple of Premier League ones. There'll be ones across the leagues as well. For me, there's only one winner that could come to them if he wanted to, that maybe could get him over the line, and that is Carlo Ancelotti. I mean, there is obviously big talks that he is stepping down from Real Madrid at the end of the season. Xabi Alonso looks like the most likely replacement for him.
Yep.
If he is still looking for a job, I would say he and Arsenal could be a match made in heaven, but they may miss out on that if they keep Arteta in charge.
Yeah. Well, spoke about Arsenal for too long. Let's not give much longer.
Moving on to their title rivals or title. I'm not
Man City, come on. Yeah, Man City.
I'm not going to say winners yet because a lot of people say the title race is over. I am a massive pessimist. I have been since 2014 when we went to when we played Crystal Palace and ended up 3-0 and Steven Gerrard's influence.
Is that the season where?
Yes.
Did someone slip?
Yeah.
Remind me of that. What happened there?
Mourinho parked the bus, coined the phrase really, and the rest is history. So.
Yeah, but what how was the second goal scored?
It was the first, wasn't it?
It might have been. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's the first because at the time we were complete sort of cruise control, passing it around, and you hit us on the counter.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Demba Ba scored the first goal in the first half with a miscontrol from Steven Gerrard. We've done Crystal Palace, unfortunately, Mateta. Anyways, so talking about Liverpool, 2-0 against Newcastle. Mo Salah again. You already said, wow, he is just at this level. Got another assist this time, not a goal. I think he had scored 8 games in a row up until that point, but still contributing no matter what. Is he going to break Thierry Henry's record and get 20 assists and 20 goals in the season? Obviously, he's already got the goals.
Ooh.
Is he going to hit that 20 assist mark?
What's he on now? 17 and...
I think
17?
He's on 17, I want to say.
I want to say 17. I know he was on 16 assists before Newcastle.
Yeah, so he's on 17. And he's got 10 games to go. 10 games to go. So 3 assists in 10 games. I think you know where your money's going.
On the form, he really should. But
I mean,
all it takes is one injury. And that's...
It does.
It's completely derailed.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to work with the assumption that hopefully no one ever gets injured because it's not nice to see players getting injured. No. Once they're out, have them out for the season, Rodri. But yeah, it never wish injury upon anyone, and hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully he stays fit and well. But yeah, he is on 17 assists and 25 goals this season.
Bloody hell.
I did ask a question to my chat when I did a watch on, not this game, the one before when we played Man City, when he had 11 games left. He needed to go 11-11 for goals scored to beat Erling Haaland's goal scoring record. Is that still on the cards?
I don't think he'll get Haaland. I think it'll take something from him.
11 in 10 now. 11 in 10.
Yeah, that would. I don't know. I think that would take something. I know he's been unreal, but I think to go, especially with the Champions League now, the Carabao Cup final. I mean, I was going to say FA Cup, but never mind.
Yeah.
But no, I think he'll get rested in games like Southampton. And I think that will really mess him up. Because you obviously play... Who is it you have again in the PSG, ain't it?
PSG.
I think between that Southampton game is the first leg and second. So he'll get rested in the Southampton game, I reckon.
But he hasn't missed a game in the Premier League all season. The only time Slot has rested Mo Salah has been in cup games and the one Champions League game that didn't matter, I believe. Other than that, he has played in every game. So we'll see. Maybe once the league is won, if the league is won, that might be when he starts to rotate him in and out. But yeah. Next up, we have got
Man City Spurs.
I suppose that is the most logical place to go after that, isn't it? Manchester City. They've seemed to have broken that Spurs curse, haven't they? Last year, when Tottenham did not want to win the game, the famous Ange moment where Ange sort of lost the fans and the club it almost felt. Ever since then, City have felt a bit more confident against Spurs. I know they did
get battered 4-0 at the start of the season.
Yeah, but in general, I think that curse is broken now because they are winning the occasional game, aren't they? Erling Haaland back on the score streak.
Back in the team as well. They missed against Liverpool, but
I mean, look, I won't deny it. It was very nice not having to play Isaac and not having to play Haaland. 2 weeks in a row, 2 games in a row. It was quite a nice result, I think, from our.
I've just seen in that City game, Ederson got man of the match. Crazy.
What? Oh, against Spurs.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a few highlights, and it did seem like Spurs had a good bit of the game in their favour. I mean, Man City also had some great moments. Haaland, obviously, a second goal ruled out. But it did seem like for a 1-0, quite a decent game. Yeah. Quite a good one to watch. And but it's a 1-0 at the end of the day. There's not much to talk about it. Man City, Champions League, are they going to get it?
Probably not because they're out.
No, as in get into the Champions League.
Oh.
Not winning. Obviously, you're their closest rival.
I think they will.
Yeah.
Newcastle. Yeah, I reckon.
Forest to drop out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Forest they've still got City. They still got us. I think they'll get 5th or 6th in my opinion. So maybe they'll get Champions League at 5th, or maybe they might just drop to Europa. But I think they will get a form of Europe. If they don't, then Jesus.
Well, let's get into that in a little bit. We'll get into our predictions on how it's going to end up. There's a little spoiler and teaser for you guys on what Ben thinks. The other games, I mean, is there anything to really talk about in them? What do we have?
Between the two, probably more United nearly collapsing.
Yeah,
I mean Patrick Dogu, I don't know.
He looked awful, and that was a terrible challenge.
I can't see how people are blaming Onana for that. I don't know how. I don't know why is he passing back like that directly to the goal. If that's happening, you just clear the ball. It's inexperience. That's the only thing, really.
Yeah, I'm very glad you said that, to be honest, because everywhere I've looked, it's been Onana mistake. I look at this thing and I'm like, all he has to do. It's not like is it Philgrim? Who was behind him?
Villagin,
that's it. He was not that close to him where he had to play the pass. All he had to do was put his body in the way, and that ball would have bounced into Onana's hands.
Yeah,
it was in the box. It was coming in. Well, it was coming into the corner of the box. There was no pressure really on Onana. All he had to do was shield it, and then he plays a terrible pass. Great assist, but a terrible pass to the goalkeeper.
And then 5 minutes later, he gets a red card.
I know, and I don't know if you picked up on a small detail. Manchester United actually scored all 3 of their goals from set pieces.
Yep.
Bit of an Arsenal
style
of play, but yeah.
Bruno Fernandes, he is a
very
good player.
I hate him. I hate him with all my guts as a Liverpool fan, but you have to respect the levels that he has put up over the years. I mean, he has consistently been their best player. I think he is a deserved captain of the side. I think. Yes, okay, there has been times in previous years where his head's gone, but this year, especially under Amorim, I think he's always shown a top-class effort, which I don't like, because I don't like seeing Man U players do well generally, but I have to give credit where it's due. As much as I don't like him as a player, I do think he is quality at the end of the day.
Yeah. We can skip through Brentford.
Brentford, other than Beto missing 3 chances, is he the worst striker that starts in the Premier League?
Oh God! Because Ipswich have Delap.
He's good. He's
Vardy's goal. There. Southampton have
Oh, Southampton have no one, right?
Onuachu, whatever his name is.
Do you know what? I actually quite
guy.
like. I actually quite like Onuachu. When we played them and we beat them 3-2 earlier in the season, that man had some incredible talent with that ball at his feet. It was really quite impressive. But yeah, I think Beto. Is possibly the least composed and worst striker I've seen. And the worst thing is, I say all this having known that he scored against Liverpool, which just really grinds my gears. But yeah, like you say, the other games, West Ham last night beating Leicester 2-0, 2 days ago now when this comes out on YouTube and Spotify. It was a solid result. I look at West Ham and I think, oh my God, as long as they got Jared Bowen, they'll be all right.
Yeah.
They'll always be all right.
And Suchek. They're the two goal scorers.
Yeah, they're the heart, aren't they? And if they did go missing, then that is what
God forbid.
Right. Right.
Get on to the second part of the show.
Okay. What do we agree on?
Predictions.
Predictions. Okay, yeah. So we did hint at this a minute ago. We're going to do our most likely to... Actually, you know what, Ben?
It's like top 5 and then...
I'm going to let you intro this bit because this will be a video. This will be a separate video. So, yeah, our top 5 and bottom 3. Go on, you can intro it.
Do I have to?
Yes.
I don't like introing at all. Right. What have I got to say?
1 second. Hi, Bethany. Anyway, yeah. We're doing our top 5, bottom 3 Premier League predictions.
Right, is it just recording straight up?
I'll cut it. All
right, cool. No! I don't like it. I never like recording while streaming or something. It's so embarrassing.
Don't worry, chat. I'll leave this in the intro.
Oh, great. What's up, guys? Welcome to a new video. And today we are going to be predicting our top 5 and bottom 3 Premier League predictions. Let's get over to Jamie where he will give his top 5 first.
Oh, I'm going to give my top 5 first. Okay.
Yes.
So we're just going to go for who we think will finish in the top 5, which could very well be the Champions League spots. It all depends on how we do in Europe as a country, as a nation. Going all right so far. Man City, I think, are the only team that are bowed out. We'll see who else goes out. But with Arsenal and Aston Villa getting the most favourable draws you could possibly see, there's 2 teams that certainly should go through. If you ask me, top 5 from order of 1st to 5th, I'm going to go because I actually think by this point, 1st and 2nd is more guaranteed and less interesting, given Arsenal's recent form. So I'd say Liverpool and Arsenal as the top 2. In 3rd place, I think Man City have just tweaked it up a little bit of a notch recently. Yes, I know they're still not perfect, still lost 2 of the last 5. But in general, I do think City will come through. Forest, a slight drop off. Is their early season form going to be good enough to keep them going? Maybe. We'll have to see. I mean, currently they sit, if you look at 5th place, they are only 2 points above it.
Yep.
2 points with 11 games to go, for them, is a lot to hold on to. In 4th place, I am going to go with Chelsea. I think quality in the side, what they've got going for them, I think that they should be able to pull it through. Cole Palmer has had a bit of a rough patch, which we mentioned earlier in the show, but he's going to come good again at some point, isn't it? There's a certain quality to a player like that. It will just be Chelsea need to win 1 penalty. He'll score it, and he'll be back to his ways. That's what it takes sometimes for a player of that quality, just that 1 goal to get him over the line again. And then my final team making to the top 5, we've got the likes of Forest, we've got the likes of Bournemouth, Brighton. I mean, Villa are only currently 4 points off it, and they're down in 10th. So there is a lot of teams that could make their way in. But for me, I think it's going to be Newcastle. I mean, Alexander Isak has been quality all season, and it'd be silly to think that he isn't going to get him into that top 5. Will they be able to keep him in the summer? That's another question. As for bottom 3, you're looking at it. The bottom 3 isn't going to change, in my opinion. The only challenge is who's going to finish 18th, who's going to finish 19th. That's all that really matters, isn't it? Southampton, I hope that you break Derby's record. You deserve it for keeping that prat in charge of your team for as long as you did. So yeah, that's my bottom 3, and then my top 5. Over to you, Ben.
I'm going to change one thing about that, and I'm going to change 5th. And I'm going to go really rogue, and this will either be something in May where I'm called absolutely the best person in the world, or I'm hiding myself. I'm going to go Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace?
I don't know why. I have a feeling Palace are going to keep winning, and they play Ipswich next. They can go 11th and 3 points behind Villa. They could be 5 points off 5th. I have some weird feeling Palace are going to maybe not get... Okay. I feel like they get Europe.
You've said it now.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. And I'm either going to be the smartest person in the world, or we're never going to talk about it ever again. But it's better to go rogue than go for a boring pick like Brighton or Fulham. Yeah.
Crazy. That is never going to happen. But I think I know a few people who support the Eagles who would be very happy with that. So just to clarify, your top 5 are?
I'm going to change it quickly because I've just seen that Palace plays City and Newcastle away. Bournemouth.
Hang on. No. Don't back out on it now. Don't back on it. Look at that backtrack. He's rewind. Just keep going back. Just back it up. Just keep going. See you later. Bye-bye.
I also realised Palace never have got over 49 points before. So that's a bit of a... yeah, Bournemouth. I'm going Bournemouth. Oh, that's the team I was thinking the whole way, and then I just wanted to get rogue and throw a team like that in there. I don't think it's out of this world. If they beat Ipswich, I don't think it's absolutely stupid. Like, it is 5 points.
10 points. There's 10 points.
Yeah, but no. Say Newcastle, Chelsea, and Bournemouth and Brighton lose. It's 5 points.
How does 10 take away 3 equal 5?
What's the third part of the segment?
So your top 5 in order from 1st to 5th are
Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Bournemouth, and then the bottom 3. The bottom 3.
Bottom 3 doesn't change. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we got a nice, fun little segment. Am I enjoying this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Let me just have a drink.
Oh, I need to go on this. You're going.
Yeah, Leeds. I'll tell you what. That from Ben is maybe the most horrendous shout I think I've ever seen.
There's worse.
Crystal Palace. I'll tell you what. Why don't you whack a 5 on that, Ben? Do you know how much you'll get for that? I wonder what the odds are on Crystal Palace getting shouted. You probably won't. You won't be able to find it online. Most likely, it probably doesn't exist.
Let's see. Football competitions, Premier League, outright, top 4 finish.
If Madrid win the treble, Mbappe will get
300 to 1.
See,
Bournemouth are actually 13 to 1.
Yeah, they're quite close though. To be fair,
Villa are 30 to 1.
Yeah, well, they played that extra game as well.
Tottenham and United are more likely to.
Is that just to qualify for the Champions League? You do technically have double odds. Top 4.
Let me go 81 to 1. Palace are for top 6. Which,
there you go.
Basically, it's not that bad. I don't think it's out of this. But yeah, go on. Let's go next.
Okay.
bit.
Yeah.
Go on, Leandro.
Right. Yep. Right, guys. So, as we all know, the Premier League has a lot of ears and eyes on it. And I tell you what, one thing happens that really, really annoys me, Ben. Players get rated way too highly. We see a player, we see Nwaneri play for Arsenal. We go, oh my God, he is the next Messi. Let's get him in and absolutely, let's do it. No, I don't agree with it.
I'm trying to work out who you just said.
Nungumoha. No.
The guy from Chelsea that you got in the academy.
Don't do this to me, Ben. I'm going to have to restart it now.
No,
I can't pronounce his name.
Rio?
No, not Liverpool. I'm talking about Arsenal's Blumham. I can't. Yeah, see, I can't pronounce. See, look, you're struggling to pronounce it. I can't pronounce his name. Leave me alone. Anyways, we all overrate players. We all do it. Ben, who's someone that you overrate?
In order? Or
No, just who's someone that you actually overrate yourself. You know they're not as good as you say.
Archie Gray.
Archie Gray. There you go. Fair enough. Although I do think he's quite quality. And
Yeah, I'm only saying that because Leeds is in chat.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Nah,
that's just mean.
We'll get into the options.
Yeah.
There's anyway, 20 options here.
We are going to go through every Premier League side and name their most overrated player by you lot, who we think you guys are overrated. We'll take it turn by turn, going from 20th to first. So we'll start with Southampton. Ben's going to give us his, and I'll give you
I've done it in alphabetical order.
Yeah, but you can just look at the table and go from there, can't you?
Do you know what? I'm very surprised if we don't get the same player here.
I would be shocked if we do have the same player.
I've gone Aaron Ramsdale.
I see. Yeah, so I think that Ramsdale.
I just think he's awful.
Yeah, but
this season would be a second relegated season on his CV.
Yeah,
it's not really a great look, is it?
That's not great. And I mean, look, I can't believe it. He went from, Arsenal. being the number one at Arsenal to maybe being one of the reasons they threw the league to being benched. And then, I mean, look, I was looking at Southampton and I think the bottom teams are almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
There's only one person that is actually rated, I think, in that entire Southampton squad, and that is Diblin. So I've put Diblin. And I also would like to say that when it was said that 20 million wouldn't pay for his left leg, that statement is absolutely outrageous. And that alone is enough for me to say that he is overrated because, yes, he's a decent footballer. No, he doesn't wear shin pads when he plays. And I just don't think he's that bloody good.
Can we just say, we've got a Southampton fan in chat and he's just said Kyle Walker-Peters. I don't know a single person who rates him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he was rated as a starter on Ultimate Team 3 years ago. when you do your little starter squads and you put that non-rare gold in at the start. That's about it. He's pretty shit, to be honest. And I think we just agree. Right, next up, Leicester City. My turn to go first, isn't it, this time? You struggled with Leicester. I found it very easy, and I went for Wout Faes. I think that he is utter crap at the back. The Wish version of David Luiz, and David Luiz was a pretty terrible defender as well. I will always remember him as the bloke that scored 2 own goals in a season where Liverpool couldn't do anything in front of goal, and he was actually the one who scored the goals for us in that game. For me, Wout Faes.
I would love to add to that, but I don't have a name. I still don't. And I've just realised I didn't do Ipswich either. Which
you got a minute to do Ipswich. Just have a think.
If I'm to give one name on Leicester, and this is really harsh, but I think at points it's Ndidi, because he is their best player on like when you speak to a Leicester fan, he will say always that Ndidi's one of their best players. I watch him sometimes and I'm like, how does this guy even play football? Like, he's sometimes very, very good. Like, he played very good against West Ham yesterday. But then he'll have a game like he did against Chelsea where he'll just get overrun and was nowhere.
Absolutely. Fair enough. Mavadidi.
He's not. He's
quite good. I think he's actually a bit. I think he was disrespected at the start of the season as well. Didn't get to play enough minutes. Go on, Em. You got to come up with an Ipswich one now.
Well, obviously their best player is Liam Delap on paper, but he's not really overrated. He's just fairly rated.
I think he's fairly rated. These bottom teams are hard to do, lads. I tell you what, you try and list out 20 people. Do it in the comments right now. Put your 20 people if you want, or just put one for whatever teams. But these bottom teams are bloody hard because no one in them teams is actually that bloody good. But yeah.
Do you know what? I'll go a bit rogue and go Leif Davis. Only because I feel like he was so highly rated in the Championship last year, and everyone thinks now he's England's best left back. 5 months later, he's absolutely having stinkers. Like I watch when Ipswich are obviously getting attacked, it's always down his side because of how much he pushes forward. It's very similar, but this guy's actually very good to what Fulham do with Anthony Robinson. Like very similar, but Robinson's very good, so you can't really. But
yeah. I mean, he
Davis.
comes up big, doesn't he? For me, maybe it's harsh because he's only just signed for them, but I think myself and a few people rated him quite highly in previous seasons. I've gone for Cisco. Now I know he's only just joined them, but the season he's had in general with Brighton and them has been quite diabolical.
Yeah.
And for the high standards, I think that he had being a Brighton prospect and B, from what he was doing, it's completely.
Wait. Who did you say?
Cisco. What?
Enciso.
Yeah. Oh, Enciso.
Yeah, I was thinking in my head, who's this guy?
Oh, it's just my pronunciation of names. We'll learn that as we go along. I mean, we're not even going to go to Arsenal because we know what I said already.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well said. Enciso.
Go on. On to. Oh no, this is another one I might have forgot.
You sat there and said.
Oh no! I got it. Oh,
okay.
It's just on the next page.
All right. Is it me first?
Yeah, go on.
For me, I went for João Gomez. I know he scored. I know he scored on the weekend, but this man going into the season had so much hype. And yes, well said. The whole team could be pulled up for being overrated because they have been utter crap this season, other than one player. Maybe two. Aït-Nouri is quite good as well. But yeah, for me, João Gomez has been well below the standard I think everyone expected him to be. And yeah, he's my player.
I've actually gone with one of their better players this season, and that's Aït-Nouri. Because I think he gets really... Again, I think it's very similar to Davis, but you look at his attitude, look at when he got the red card against I forgot, when Cunha got fined. Who was it against? It might have been against Ipswich. It was Ipswich. But yeah, he's reckless in my opinion. Wait, what?
Your camera's gone.
What?
Your camera's gone.
How's it gone?
I don't know.
It's still here.
Maybe just turn it off and turn it back on.
How the fuck do I restart the camera?
I don't know.
Wait. Let me.
Oh,
yeah, it's gone. Hold on. There you go. Back.
Yeah, you're back. You're right. Right. Do it from the top, just on your player. You were in a great flow state. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, Aït-Nouri. Yeah, I just think he's very similar to Davis in terms of runs up too much, gets caught out, very reckless, attitude problems. I know United want him and they got Dogu in the end, but I don't know. I don't rate him as highly as I think other teams and other people do, personally.
Yeah. Fair enough. Moving on to Everton, your turn.
Ooh, this was... I don't even think he's actually rated that highly anymore, but Calvert-Lewin. I think he's just always on offside. Yeah. Like, I mean, you would look at XG, and I don't want to be a stat hooligan, but he's got 7 XG this season, 2 goals or 3 goals. Getting outperformed. He's always offside. He's a free agent in June, to be fair, but when Beto came in, Everton started scoring. What a shock. And some Everton fans are calling out for them to get that contract down, give him what he wants, whatever. I just think he was good under Ancelotti, good the season after, and then he's hit a cliff.
Yeah. I mean, for me, all Everton players are shit. If I could have listed 24 people down, I would have. But there's one person that I see Everton fans rave about the most out of everyone. And yes, okay, he's had some good moments this season and some good clips and highlights. But I tell you what, Asayidi for Liverpool had some good highlights on the reels. If you go on YouTube, he looked quite good. I'm going for Njai, the left winger. Firstly, he's a diving cheat. I definitely do not have an agenda against him because of that. But secondly, yes, he's had some good moments, but people talking about him like he is one of the top left wingers in the league, Everton fans, you're wrong. You're just wrong. Stop. No one is paying any attention to what you're saying anymore because he just ain't it. And that is all I have to say on it.
Yeah.
Branthwaite overrated?
Branthwaite's very good.
Yeah, I think
he does get the sky limit, but you'll see with other centre backs as it goes along. That,
he's
a lot of English centre backs that get really overrated.
Next up, we've got West Ham United. For me, I went for someone who I don't think I'll get much kickback on this because last season he was very, very highly rated. People were raving all about him.
We've got the same name.
And a certain midfielder who was almost banned going into the season. It's a different person.
Yes.
Paqueta, absolutely. Paqueta, I think this season has not hit the standards at all that everyone was hyping up. I'm pretty sure he was rumoured for a Manchester City move at the start of the season. I can't actually remember him really doing anything this season at all that's had a major impact. Probably a reason that West Ham are down in 15th. We spoke earlier about how Bowen and Souček run that West Ham team. If Paqueta stepped up, they'd be about 3-4 positions higher probably. But for me, he's been pretty terrible.
Do you know what? You might have changed my mind here. I forgot Paqueta played football. So the player I went with is actually, to be fair, he's a good player, but I think the fee that West Ham fans try and say that he deserves, kudos. I think he's very good. I'm not taking away from it. But 3 goals, 1 assist this season, and people think he's a £100 million player. That's but Paqueta, I would change it to Paqueta after. Yeah.
I didn't realise them stats on Kudus' low return this season. I think
he got 16 and 5 last season. So
yeah,
it's a huge drop off.
A big drop off. And that's a little bit of Doku syndrome there, I think. Always looks amazing on the ball, goes past people, beats them. But what is the end product at the end of the day? Not much. Two good shouts. Yeah. But yeah. We'll do definitely.
Which is... Oh, I closed the tab.
We're 14th now. Oh, your camera's gone again. As soon as you change tab, you lose your camera. Let me do the clip. Let me do it up for you. We've got Manchester United.
Yeah, you're gonna have to say all the teams then.
Yeah,
Man United.
Fine. Yeah, and I believe it's your turn. Yeah, your turn to go with Man United. You've got a lot of people list here.
Yeah, there is. I went for someone that came off against who did they play? Ipswich, and had a bit of a strop. Garnacho.
Oh my god.
Garnacho. I went for him because there is no difference in my opinion between him and a Championship winger. He just looks so bizarre when he's on the ball. I remember the game against Chelsea. He probably had about 1,500 shots, and I can't remember him getting close to scoring once. He's good on the ball at points, but he's just all... I don't rate him as highly as I think some United fans do, calling him better than Rashford, calling him better than Sancho, Anthony, etc. I don't know. Yeah. And his attitude reeks as well.
Yeah, you won't hear much kickback from me because my Manchester United overrated player is Garnacho. Yeah. I think this is mainly Manchester United fans here. I'm talking to you. He is not the next Ronaldo. He is not the next Messi. He is not the best of both of Messi and Ronaldo. He is the worst of Di Maria and who's another? No, he's just the worst of Di Maria.
Depay.
He's just a crap Di Maria, isn't he? That's what he is.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Manchester United Di Maria, not Real Madrid Di Maria or PSG.
Can we just talk about as we're talking about Garnacho, Marcus Rashford just got an assist for Villa. Old Simon.
There you go. I mean, look, I think we could go to the. We'll talk about Rashford in a minute. Let's get through the rest of this, and we'll talk about Rashford in a minute. Next up, Tottenham Hotspur. I've gone for someone who they will never sell. They will keep him there chained up for as long as possible because of the money brings in. But Heung-min Son, you are on fraud watch now. Your contribution has dipped since the first half of the season after Kane left. Your contribution has gone down like that for Tottenham. And you're, I believe, the captain of the team. You are the captain of the team.
Yeah.
And you are not performing. You are not performing to the level that you should. For a captain, for a player of your ability. I mean, simple chances that he would previously score, doesn't really do that anymore. And yeah, the drop-off is just mad. So yeah, I don't think he's been called out on it much yet. I think you will see people start to call him out on this, but I'm getting in early. And yeah, Son, you are dropping off and are overrated.
To be fair, it's not a bad shout. I went for a left back, Udogie. And do you know what? I went for it for one reason, because I think he's been taken out of the team, and Jed Spence looks 10 times the player of him, and then when he gets added back to the team, they start losing. It's just I don't know. I don't rate him as highly as I think Spurs fans did last season, and they did start to this season. He's a good player, but yeah, I think Spence is better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a vibe that you don't like left backs. That's 3 left backs out of the first 7 teams that we've done. You've picked 3 left backs, so you clearly don't think much. You don't think much of some left backs. Crystal Palace, you're
up. I went for someone that scored against Villa, Nketiah, and that was only because Arsenal fans glorified that guy like he was the next England Wayne Rooney.
And
he turned out to be like Daniel Sturridge.
Wait, Sturridge was good.
Yeah,
you got to go crapper than that. You got to go lower than Sturridge.
Akinfenwa. There you go.
Yeah.
No, I don't know who you compare him to, but I don't. He's absolutely underperforming XG. He's struggling to settle in. Yeah, I don't rate. I think I know who you're going to go off the top of my head, but because I think I might.
Yeah, I think you're like Nketiah. Well, look, the thing about Nketiah is I can't say that he's overrated because I don't actually think anyone even rates him anymore. Yeah, injury storage. I was thinking injury Danny Ings would be a good comparison after Ings got his injuries and dropped off. Now, I might get a bit of slack for this one, but I've gone for Adam Wharton. The reason why I've gone for Wharton is we're doing overrated here. And for me, there was so much hype around this player. I mean, people were saying, if you go from the Euros onwards, he should be starting. He should be the player. He is the one that everyone needs to build it around. He is all this. He's all that. Didn't get a move. Hasn't really impressed. I think. Did you say he's been injured? I don't remember.
I think he's. I don't know.
I mean, for me, I'm gonna have to double check on it how much he's played this season. But for me, I just think he has been so underwhelming for all the hype that was around him.
He's played 8 games off the top of my head.
Yeah, and then, terrible.
He's been involved in like 20, but started 8 or something stupid.
He's had 12 appearances. So only 3 as a sub. So he's started 9 games this season. I can't really say that he's done anything in them that stood out to the level of a player that it was expected. It's kind of like Kobe Mainoo at Manchester United. A big drop. Yeah, I was thinking about
I forgot about him.
When I started talking about, he's been injured as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I've completely forgot about him and then started talking about Wharton and he came to mind. But yeah, I think them 2 young defensive mids that England had, of Mainoo and Wharton, have both just gone off a cliff. Next up, we got Brentford. Now, I found Brentford incredibly hard to do because Brentford are maybe that one team in the Premier League more than anybody that what you see is what you're going to get. And you know that with every single player. Yeah. Every player is probably a solid 7 out of 10 every week. They might not win every week, but they're 7 out of 10 to the ability that you expect. So with that thought in mind, I've gone for someone who I have had a particular focus and eye on because of his affiliation with Liverpool in Fabio Carvalho. I think the big price tag for a club like Brentford that he brought across with him, he has underperformed it. There's a technical ability to that man, but he does not suit the Premier League. He needs to go to France or Spain where you hardly get touched. And if you flop on the floor, you're going to get a free kick because he will never succeed to the level he could in the Premier League.
Let's just go to Villa.
You got the same?
Yeah, I got Carvalho as well. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say. Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, big drop off. Big drop off from that man. Villa, take it away.
Right. I'm going to change my one that I've got on my list because for some reason I put Jacob Ramsey down. And it feels a bit harsh. So I'm going Martinez. And that's very harsh again, but the shouts that guy gets for like the best keeper in the world, just because of one save, it was a massive save, but the save he made in
the World Cup final.
In the World Cup final, for some reason TikTok's going to try and shut off.
Oh, it does after an hour.
Yeah, I just Martinez. Yeah, he won best goalkeeper of the year this year, and I get Villa had a very good season, but even Lunin I thought was a lot better this year. Oblak is obviously, of course, Oblak. Alisson's better. I don't know any other Prem keep. Raya's better, to be fair. I just think he gets so glorified because of that one save that now they're going to put him in all-time shouts. Oh, look at Martinez when he was in the World Cup.
Camera's gone again. I'm gonna double down for you there and say I had Martinez as well. I'll go a little bit more and say he is an incredible. Your camera's gone, just so you know. An incredible not Premier penalty saver. He will save. I think I feel most confident putting him in front of a penalty out of anyone. I think that he does have that ability. Yes, he can have a good shot stop on him, but the amount of mistakes that he makes leading to goals is at a ridiculously high level for the best keeper in the world. If you look at the best keepers in the world over time, you've had Alisson, Buffon. Oh no, before Alisson was Neuer. Before that was Buffon and Casillas, both sort of at the same time. To compare him to any of them is criminal. So, in my mind, completely and utterly overrated by
is my camera
so
back,
many
by the way?
pundits. Yeah, you're back.
Okay, cool.
So many different pundits.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Fulham.
I found this. It's you.
Yeah, I went for Andreas Pereira. Is that harsh? Maybe. But I think last season, the standard that he set, people still hold him to, and he has dropped off. Yes, there was the Smith Rowe bringing him. Smith Rowe's dropped off as well now, though, and he still hasn't stepped it up that much. I think for the quality that he sort of did have, I don't think he's impressed me enough. I don't have too much to say on him because I don't think he is the most overrated or worst player. I just think he's not been great for what his standards are.
To be fair, I was thinking about Pereira anyways, but I had Reece Nelson put down for some random reason. I don't know why. I just couldn't think about Fulham. Fulham and Brentford.
You're just naming crap players now.
Yeah,
that's not who's underrated.
I'm going Pereira as well, then. Because he was someone I was thinking about anyways, because he was on the bench loads now. But yeah, I'd say same reason.
There you go. Brighton.
Do you know what? I might get some crap for it, but João Pedro, I think he's really good. But again, I think it's very similar to who did we have earlier? Udogie. No, not Udogie. Who did I compare him to? I forgot. But I think Pedro. I generally think he gets such a high ceiling because of when he came from Watford. Everyone was thinking, oh, he's going to be absolutely revolutionary for him. He only scores penalties. I mean, I say only scored. I think his last 2 goals have been penalties. But I don't know. He doesn't seem as good, in my opinion, as I think maybe people give him credit for.
7 goals, 6 assists this season in 21 games isn't a bad return for a
No.
I was maybe a bit harsh, but I would say actually, given my reaction, I also sort of went like that, and I realize now looking at it, you're not far off, to be fair, because I think there's a lot higher expectation than what he actually pulls off. For me, I went for Estepinian. Now I'm coming for the left backs. I think this man last year and maybe the year before a little bit as well was this so highly rated, and everyone sort of sits there and goes, "Oh yeah, Estepinian's a great left back. He's one of the top ones in the Prem," but he's on fraud watch. He has not been to the levels that he once was. And at what point do we realize, hang on, he just had a good run of form rather than being a quality player. And that's all it was. Next up, who we got? It's Bournemouth. The hardest team, I think, other than Forest. Because Bournemouth, at the start of the season, people predicted them going down, bottom half of the table. The amount of people that would have put them above 9th, I would be shocked to see if it was over 1%. Of course, essentially scored a brace on his FA Cup night when I put him into my team and blanked on FPL. Anyway, yeah, back to Bournemouth. I went for Evan Nilsson. Big money striker coming in at the start of the season. Hard to pick someone. Had to put a name down. And yeah, for the money that he cost, the return he's given hasn't been great. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy with him because he scored against Arsenal and beat them in the 2-0 win. But yeah, for me, I went for Evan Nilsson.
I've got one for our FM managers. He signed for Bournemouth from where did he sign again? I think maybe Bristol City. Alex Scott, the DM. Do you know what? He has his moments. He had a good cameo, I think, against Arsenal, maybe, off the top of my head. But to me, out of anyone in that team, I mean, Tyler Adams is there, but he's very underrated, in my opinion. I can't. And the rest of them, they're fine. Kirk is maybe a little slowly, but he's still good. He's been really good this season. So, yeah, I went Alex Scott.
Fair enough. Just got my verification come up on TikTok as well. There we go.
Nice.
Right. Next up into the top 6 now, and we're looking at Newcastle United.
Issue.
Oh
no. Oh, okay.
These are the interesting ones now. The big names.
Yeah,
coming out.
I'm going. Okay.
You got to be putting a big name forward here.
It is a big name.
If you say Anthony Gordon. If you say Isaac, then I'm gone. Are you?
No, it's Anthony. Oh, hold on. Back?
Nope.
What the fuck?
First live technical issues.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yes.
Fuck? There you go.
No? There.
Yep.
I think it probably just cuts out over 5 minutes. But yeah, I went for. Who are we on again? Newcastle. Anthony Gordon. Do you know what? My thinking behind it was you look at the game against Everton when you bring some pressure into it and the guy fumbles. Obviously, he didn't play much in the Euros anyways, but there's not much reasons. I think Newcastle are quite a good team. You know, there is Trippier, who was probably one I presume you could consider as well. But other than that, I don't think maybe Nick Pope. Bar them two, there's not really many overrated players. If anything, some of them are underrated.
Yeah, I think Nick Pope and Trippier are probably now not rated so highly. So I think it's easier to disregard them. I went for someone who I think, I'm going to say the Roy Keane effect. Looks like an incredible player because he's so aggressive and just wants to fight everyone. But actually, for his talent and ability, is completely underperforming. So I gone with Bruno G, who I think has all the talent in the world, but is not performing to that level. And everyone still thinks he's this multi-talented midfielder. His contribution this season has been nowhere near the level you'd expect for someone that is their captain and they value at over 100 million. He scored 2 goals all season, both headers, and has just been really underwhelming. I think, yes, he does a lot of work, but I actually think players like Joe Linton and Tonali and Lewis Miley have covered him quite a bit in terms of doing the groundwork for him as well and providing opportunities. So, yeah, Bruno G in my mind. Again, look, like you say, Newcastle, a lot of quality players. And it's hard to pick for the other reason of who is actually overrated in that side, because I think they're quite fairly rated other than by Newcastle fans. But yeah, I've gone for Bruno G. Next up, your beloved Chelsea. It's hard because, again, I think a lot of people just go, oh, he's crap or he's good. Yep. I don't actually think there's any mediocre players in Chelsea, really. They're either crap or insane, is how everyone views them. I went for Nicholas Jackson. He went on a hot streak at the start of the season and people started going on about him being one of the best strikers in the league. And realistically, it was a hot streak. He is probably about on par with Darwin Núñez in terms of finishing ability. He just isn't. He had Cole Palmer setting him up and he had a good streak of tap-ins from that, with Cole Palmer being at the top form. Personally, you could say it from a Chelsea fan point of view. It's probably the best view we're going to get. I think he is slightly overrated. Oh, let the Chelsea fans not happy with me saying it.
I get from a point of view why people think it, but I think I actually have him down as probably one of our more underrated because of his. No. I'm not talking from a finishing point of view. I think on the ball, he's one of the glues in the team.
But he's a striker.
No. Look at since we've gone on this crap form. How long have we been missing Jackson for now? About 2-3 weeks, and
But he's a striker and he can't score.
No. But when you think of the attack, when we went to Villa or when we went to City, he played against City. Who was the other team we lost to? Brighton. They're the two games I think we missed him more than ever because on the ball work, you look at what he done to Van Dijk at Anfield. To be fair. And look at what he done to Saliba and Gabriel as well. But
listen, just like the commenter say, he is not good. Nicholas Jackson,
right.
You proved it. You've proven my point by him being overrated. Let's say your go on. Who's your overrated Chelsea player?
I've gone Levi Colwill. He was getting a lot of comparisons to Van Dijk, getting called England's best centre back.
Was that from Chelsea fans? I didn't hear anyone else say it.
No, I think United fans were saying it as well for some reason. On Twitter.
After the Euros, maybe.
After the game there was a game, I believe it might have been Forest at home, where I went on Twitter that night, and I literally, the first thing I saw was a Levi Colwill, compilation from a United fan saying, is this one of the best centre-backs in the league? And I looked at him against West Ham the other week, and I was like, oh my God. He's got a bit of an attitude issue. He when he scored against Southampton, he went to the corner flag and done the talk more kind of thing against Southampton.
Yeah, Southampton.
Fucking Southampton.
3-0 up one as well. When he scored, his goal was the third.
From my point of view, I get why some people will say Palmer as well. I think he's just going through a dry patch. There's nothing. If he keeps on it longer, then I would agree. But Enzo as well, maybe. But I think Enzo's been one of our best players this season.
I think Enzo Fernandez is one of them unfortunate players that came with a price tag after the World Cup. And as soon as you do get signed because of an international tournament, you're under so much scrutiny and pressure. Enzo Fernandez, I think, is understandably, sometimes not fairly rated. But it's just like Caicedo and Fernandez both got put into that same bracket, but they've come better. Yeah. Enzo went on a really hot streak this season as well. Dropped off a little bit. But, in general, I think he's been decent. Right, next up, Man City.
I think there's 2 or 3 players here, and I think they're all attacking. I don't think City's defence is maybe John Stones. But I went Bernardo Silva. Because I think went from one of the most underrated players in the league 2 years ago to now one of the most overrated. When I watched him against Arsenal and was it the PSG game, I want to say, when they went to Paris and then lost 4-2, he made 2 or 3 mistakes in both games that just led to goals. And I saw City fans say, oh, do you know what? He's one of the most underrated players in the league. He puts up a few numbers now. I think he's just gone past it. I think shout outs to Foden and Grealish and Gundogan as well, because they're the other 3 players I was thinking of. But Grealish is barely rated now.
Yeah, and Gundogan's also very
finished,
isn't he?
Yeah.
He's good. But I think it could be Bernardo Silva. I think that may be a bit harsh. Maybe just on the fact that he is now at the end of... I look at Liverpool and look at our midfield a few seasons ago, and it's a similar thing that's happened to City this year, where their legs have just seemed to all gone at the same time. After so much running and so much dominance for so many years, they've just... Bernardo Silva is one of the ones, like De Bruyne, whose legs just seem to have gone.
Camera's gone.
You're there.
No, your camera's gone.
My camera's gone?
Yeah, it's gone to the screen of the red circle around.
Chat, anyone can still see me? Question mark? Not TikTok. My camera's there on mine. I mean, let me just do this just to make sure.
Yeah, turn the camera off and turn it back on.
That fix it?
There you go. Oh, wait, no.
Yeah. I just did it. I just thought if I tapped it too quick, it'd be a bit crap. Next, Man City. So you say that their defensive is pretty solid. I say their defense has been quite poor this season, and they've leaked a lot of goals. There's someone in that defense who has been crowned as one of the best players in the world defensively. And I think he's been getting away with it for a while now. And look, I don't think he's a bad player in any means. I think he is a quality player, but the hype around him is potentially too high. And I've gone for Gvardiol. Like I say, I think he is a very, very good player. But the way that people talk about him being one of the best in the world, I disagree. Yes, he's okay going forward, but I actually don't think he's as good as everyone else says. That's my opinion, and people probably will disagree and give me flack on that one. But for me, I think he's over. Look, the whole point is overrated, and I think people rate him way too highly.
I was actually expecting you to say Ruben Diaz. I don't know why.
He's had a slow drop off, though.
Yeah.
He's had a slow drop off.
Right.
Forest. And it's me, right?
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
This is the most impossible club to do. Who did I put? Did I do them? Right, yeah. I looked at this Forest team and I thought, fucking hell, who on earth am I going to pick? Because you can't pick anyone from their main starting 11. And the ones that have dropped out, I mean, I looked at Sanagre, is it? He signed from the Dutch league last season, I think, or maybe even the season before, but no one really rates him. So I couldn't do him. I went for Dominguez. I think he came in with a bit of a value, a bit of a price tag on him. I don't know if the general football population really, general watchers rate him, but obviously he was rated by the scouts enough to pay that sort of price tag for him. And he's been outshone by the likes of Elliot Anderson, Gibbs White, and who's the other one? Yates has been better than him, in my opinion, and so on, So I went for Dominguez.
I feel like we've both just gone on Footbomb and looked at their worst player.
I actually didn't go on Football I went on FPL and just looked at the team and thought, who am I unhappy with?
Yeah, no, I went Dominguez as well.
Dominguez.
I looked at the whole team and I was just like, none of them are really like
crap.
There was maybe a case for Ole Einar a little bit, but I feel
there's
like
just a lot of hype around him. But he's also just been good, hasn't he?
Yeah, so, maybe I don't know. And he's also a left back who, I'm not going to go for another left back, right back type player.
I mean, how can you say Einar's overrated as well when he's been so good at the end of the day?
I think we just leave it.
Yeah,
I feel like we've either got the same player,
got so many different players you can pick.
Yeah, I mean, from Arsenal this season how highly their fans rate their players. They're
the best players in the world. It's a shame they're always injured.
Right, I feel like we've either, if I'm to guess right now, and one of these is mine, I think you've gone Rice or Odegaard. Now I went Rice. And do you know what? I went it because, again, the price tag, but I also think he had absolute awful Euros. And even this season, I think he gets overrun. You look at the player at West Ham and compare him to the player at Arsenal. I know he's now in a system. He's not allowed this freedom to run forward, run backwards. But I feel like at Arsenal, he's so restricted to his talents that he just looks, this season so far, he gets run past, he gets run circles around. He does score the occasional good goal or get the corner in. But other than that, I just think if you're hiring a player for a corner, why don't you just go and get Ward-Prowse and spend 100 million on him? No offence.
Well said. The player that I went for is Martin Odegaard. I think you called that incredibly well. I think, look, there's a few people that generally Arsenal fans overrate. The person who's Ethan, who I can't pronounce his surname. You've got defensively, I think that they rate Saliba and Gabriel too highly. I think they are incredible players, but the fact that they rate them as high as they do, like they're the next Terry and what's his name?
Carvalho.
Terry and Carvalho is ridiculous. So there's lots of shouts, but Martin Odegaard seems to almost escape criticism from all pundits, everyone around him, and he is a quality footballer who produces some magical moments against Ipswich. Does he do it in the big games? Not often enough. Look at Arsenal and their performances throughout the season, throughout the last 3 years. He has been always there, but pretty much sums up what Arsenal are, which is a side that when it comes down to the business end of things and getting the job done is slightly lacking. And for me, I think Martin Odegaard just he's not captain material in my eyes. He is a quality player, but he just isn't quite what Arsenal need to get them over the line. They need a different front man to lead the line, which Saka does do.
The one thing I'll say on Odegaard, you look at his nice. If you look at his body language compared to last season, where last season he would go up to the fans, get them high up, walk around, running around. The main criticism from Arsenal fans about him now is that his run rate and he doesn't want to run for the team. He'll run to get the ball, but he won't run back to get the ball back like he did last season. And I think that's the problem with Arsenal as a whole this season, where they've relied on corners so much that they've been trying to get this corner, get in the box, get a header in. They've not had to do this gegenpress football, I suppose, in a way. That was so... Arsenal 2 years ago, the football they played, I was, even as a Chelsea fan, say it was probably some of the best football in the league. Mm-hmm. But now it's so boring. Someone said it perfectly. They're like Stoke City on crack.
Yeah. Arsenal are funny because it's gone from appreciation of an incredible football inside to no one likes them anymore, partially because of Arteta, partially because of their fan base, and also just because of their style of play has just downgraded year on year from what it was. The freedom that they played with, yes, okay, teams now sit in against them more, but the freedom they play with has completely disappeared. Last but not least, the league leaders, Liverpool. There's not a single person that is overrated. So, yeah, I'm done. No, I struggle.
Was it you? Oh, yeah, it was.
It's me. I struggled with this because I actually don't think too many players are overrated at Liverpool. There are some Liverpool fans definitely who overrate players. I try to be less biased. I know a player's limits. Obviously, a lot of people would shout Nunes, but even Liverpool fans now don't really rate him. He's looking like he's going off to the Saudi League in the summer. I went for Kelleher. A lot of people talk about him being a starter for what you would call Champions League competitors. For example, the best example is Chelsea. Kelleher is a very good goalkeeper, a very good shot stopper, a good penalty goalkeeper as well. He has a mistake in him. And I think the best goalkeepers are the ones who have minimal amounts of mistakes. If you look at Liverpool versus Newcastle earlier in the season, he had the ball fly over his head and he left it for some reason, and Shaw scored a tap-in at the back post. Last season, when we went out to Atalanta, you could potentially say that he was at fault for a couple of the goals. And there is that quality difference between world-class and just a very good goalkeeper. If people said that he's a bottom 10 goalkeeper, or mid-table goalkeeper, I'll be all for it. But I don't think he's what you'd call a Champions League / Premier League title contending goalkeeper, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ben, your camera is gone again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We're almost at time, by the way, people, for tonight. We're almost there.
That better?
Yes, yeah, you're back.
Okay.
I'm curious to see.
Honestly, I was close to going Keller as well. Because I think in the 11, I don't know whether you'd call this guy part of the 11 much anymore. He didn't play against Newcastle. I'm going to continue my theme with left backs and go Robertson. But I think it's really harsh because I think considering his levels obviously dropped massively, like hugely. You were looking 2-3 seasons ago under Klopp, he was getting 10, 11 assists.
Yeah,
now he's got nothing in the league this season. I mean, it's harsh, but you look at the red card he got against, what was it, Ipswich or
Fulham? But
Fulham.
He should have also had a red card for his favour in that game. But yeah.
So yeah, it's harsh. I don't really think any Liverpool players, from the normal Liverpool fans, are hugely overrated. You can go Trent a little, but his attacking ability is probably one of the best in the world.
I mean, you look
at
his
defensive work is still obviously a bit of a doubt.
Sometimes
other than that,
bad.
I don't think Konate, Van Dijk are really overrated. Alisson's not. Other than that, like Gakpo, I actually think he's one of the most underrated players.
This season he's come through, hasn't he?
Yeah. Other than that, I sat there and I was like, I just went Robertson because he's obviously constantly benched now by Tsimikas. I presume obviously in the summer, you will look to go for a left back.
Kirkes is the rumour. Is the rumour, and obviously Isak as well. I think the only thing I'd say on Robertson is, yeah, he's definitely a drop off. I don't know if he's underrated anymore or overrated. Sorry, just for the simple fact, a lot of Liverpool fans are very aware at the drop off on Robertson. It's quite vocal. And it is a case of an aging player who has done it for so many years now. I mean, he was one of the first people that Klopp signed in. So to play at that intensity and that level for, 7, 8 years, it's going to have its toll eventually, isn't it? And I mean, he's had an incredible Premier League career. But sometimes it is just, you get to a certain age and you go, yeah, this player is now a little bit not what he was. In my opinion, he is I would go as far as saying he's probably the second best left back in the Premier League of all time. Maybe that's what people could say he's overrated for, but I think only Ashley Cole tops him. You could maybe argue Evra and Clichy even, but Clichy's lower. You could argue Evra, but for me, what he's done going forward, and he is actually quite solid defensively. Robertson, I'd go with him as second best of all time, but not there anymore. One final quick thing, because we have gone for about an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
Is the FA Cup predictions. We're quick fire them. Aston Villa have beat Cardiff tonight 2-0. So my prediction is going to be 2-0 Aston Villa.
Great. I got that one you're not getting any points for it, no?
Right. We'll say, we can do our whole point thing, couldn't we? We could do it for the season.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Maybe we'll do it for fun or something this season. Next year, we'll have a forfeit at the end, whoever gets the most points.
One chip.
Right. Let's we're gonna quick fire 3 seconds to think about each one.
Yep.
Crystal Palace Millwall.
Wait, are we going to take it in turns or
you go and then I'll just say
Palace.
I'll just read them and then you say it because I've got them up in front of me. Yeah, give us a score.
2-1 Palace.
I'm going to go 3-0 Palace. Preston North End Burnley.
2-0 Burnley.
I'm going to go 1-0, and I'm going to say that Burnley are going to win after extra time 2-1.
So you think Burnley are going to concede their first goal this year? Yes. They've not conceded in 13 games.
Yes, I think they will. It's the FA Cup, the Manchester Cup. Bournemouth versus Wolves.
Bournemouth 2-0.
I'm going to go for 2-1 to Bournemouth. Man City Plymouth.
3-0. See.
5-0. They'll play a full 11, I actually think, because that's the only competition they're left in. Newcastle versus Brighton.
Newcastle 2-1.
I'm going to go for a shock result here. I'm going to say 2-0 to Brighton. Manchester United Fulham.
Oh, fuck. 2-1 United.
I'm going to go 1-1, and I think Man U will win on penalties. Forest Ipswich, last game.
Forest 2-0.
I think Forest 3-0.
Yeah.
Good for it.
Easy.
Right. Well, that has been the end of my throat.
Yeah, same.
That has been the end of the first podcast that we have done together. If you are listening on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, who knows where this is going to be. Make sure you drop a subscribe, drop a follow, and give us 5 stars, like, all that crap. If you're in the stream on the live, give us a follow as well. We will be doing dual lives on TikTok. It will be coming. Ben and me are just gonna have to do a couple of lives, run them up on that account just to make sure they get the access. Next live, are we doing Monday? We'll see how the FA Cup goes.
Yeah.
It's interesting enough. Champions League actually.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll do Monday night. We'll be Mondays and Fridays every week is the plan. We'll try to get the episodes up the next morning. Yep. And thank you everyone for joining. Those of you who join live, you have a special place in our hearts. We try to get through as many comments as we can. We'll probably take a little break maybe next time to ask some questions of the live viewers.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining. And until next time. Bye.
Yes.